on our discussion segment for today, we're going to be focusing on vocational training as a panacea for unemployment, for reducing unemployment in Nigeria. I'm being joined on the program by two gentlemen. Kehinde Awoyele, he's the coordinator, German Dual Vocational Training Partnership with Nigeria, and Andre Rene, he's the head of delegation, German Industry and Commerce in Nigeria. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Awoyele, let me start with you. It's been an issue now for a very long time, the reintroduction of vocational training institutes or schools, as you would like to call it, to build a skilled young population. But how much commitment has there been from all stakeholders to achieve this?
Actually, all the stakeholders, the 5 stakeholders we're having in the country, the NGBA, Nigerian German Business Association, the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, the Lagos State Chambers of Commerce and Industry, the ABUSIMA, and the OGUNSIMA. These are the 5 stakeholders. In fact, they have been very, very committed. Actually, this project is private sector directed. That is to say, it is the belief of the project organization that the private sector, they can really drive vocational education. And that's how it has been. Up to now, the 5 stakeholders, like I told you, we have gone through training of trainers. They have sent in members in their company to come and train at high level in the professions we have selected. And these are 4 professions: industrial mechanic, industrial electronic, technical facility management, and office administration and project management, which takes care of the commerce. The first 2 take care of the manufacturer sector. The second one, which is industrial electronics, industrial mechanic, takes care of the construction sector. And that's how far we have done. We have been trainers, TOT, training of trainers have been carried out in those places. And these trainers have been selected from the companies, from the private sectors, and they are going to mainstream the main training as the apprentices are taken on, which we are at that stage now, whereby the apprentices will be taken on. And actually, the purpose is to reduce unemployment of our teeming youths in this country.
Mr. Rene, you're an international. Could you just give me your thoughts as well, give us your thoughts as well on how the process of the commitment of all stakeholders concerned? He mentioned 5 of them. These stakeholders, how has it been like, the commitment to reintroduce vocational training and vocational schools back into the Nigerian system?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the commitment of the stakeholders that Stephen Awoyele just mentioned is great. Right from the beginning, it was very promising that, particularly with the 3 chambers of commerce he mentioned in those states we are working, was quite high, and also cooperating with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria as well as with the Nigerian German Business Association is always a great pleasure. I would say that the advantage in cooperating particularly with a professional body like the NGBA is of great advantage for the project, because, like the name already said, Nigerian German Business Association, a lot of German companies are members, and they are quite familiar with the dual vocational training approach, because the management of these companies either went through the training in Germany themselves, or they try to give the knowledge, transfer the knowledge to the employees here in Nigeria based on what they went through in Germany. And also the chambers of commerce, working with them is just great, because we actually, as the German delegation, belong to the German Chambers of Commerce network abroad, and therefore are quite familiar with the structures that such an institution has. So when we approached them with our idea of supporting their members through the knowledge transfer we implemented in Germany, they were quite open right from the beginning, and I have just to underline that cooperation with every stakeholder is good.
So if the cooperation with every stakeholder is good, the methods now being looked forward to trying to apply, how applicable is it to our own society? Because German economy is quite different from the Nigerian economy, in spite of the fact that we're trying to do a transfer of knowledge. So let's talk about those methods and how applicable they are in our own situation.
Well, I would say that it was quite clear right from the beginning for all of us that we would not be able right now, or let's say within the duration of the program, to implement it in a way it has been implemented in Germany, for several reasons. First of all, the dual vocational training project or program has a quite long tradition in Germany already. We started, I think, even before the beginning of the Second World War. So the strong cooperation between the public and the private sector in Germany is pretty much based on a high commitment, financial as well as logistic-wise and theoretical and content-wise. So when we started in Nigeria, we knew that it would not be possible to implement it 100%. But nevertheless, the commitment from our Nigerian partners, and particularly from the trainers as well as the trainees of the companies that we are facing here, is just amazing. And therefore, what might lack at the beginning is definitely not a problem, because even though we do not necessarily have all the necessary equipment sometimes on ground, or even the training schools, the commitment of the people we are training is so great that the German trainers we brought in to train the Nigerian trainers as well as the trainees always told us that it's just a pleasure to work here, because everybody understands the importance of the approach, and also in a long-term perspective clearly understands that this is a benefit for everybody who is part of this beautiful approach. So I can only say that yes, there's definitely still a long way to go to implement it fully, but with the support of our stakeholders as well as those institutions in the public sector, namely ITF, the Industrial Training Fund, as well as the National Board for Technical Education, who are all part of the project, have all been carried along right from the beginning and have all been very supportive. I would say the project is a great success.
Mr. Awele, could you just quickly talk to us about this dual vocational training partnership? What really is it all about?
Actually, it's about, the purpose, first of all, is to eradicate poverty. Second is to, through a reduction of unemployment of our youth, by implication, poverty will be eradicated. And the purpose, actually the strategy and purpose, is to increase the employability of young men and women in Nigeria, and also their qualification, by setting out a process whereby the private sector, the people that really drive the economy, are engaged in the training of our teeming youth through the dual system, meaning 70% of the training takes place within the sector, the private sector. People that are engaged in driving the economy in the various sectors, manufacturing, construction, commerce. They know how to drive it, and they have the wherewithal, they have the skills, and these skills can only, not only in schools and university be impacted, but within the private sector. These young men and women learn that trade, maybe in the construction sector, maybe in the manufacturing sector. They learn that trade based on that profession 70% of the time.
In the class or on the field? On
the field, 70% of the time. And 30% of the time is in the classroom, whereby we have institutions like ITF, like IIT, Institute of Industrial Technology, along this way, Isheri Road. They too, they are engaged. That is where we have the school. The school aspect is taken care of 30% by those schools, which we are having a very good partnership with, and they have been trying. The ITF has been trying. They have been doing a tremendous job in putting the apprentices through their short time, 30% short time in the process. And also, as we are talking now, about 26 young men and women are undergoing apprenticeship in two areas, industrial mechanic and industrial electronics, in the various companies of the stakeholders. And it is going well. And as at last week, we completed a training of trainers of special experts who are to impart those knowledge to the youths in the companies. So our German expert came in, they trained the Nigerian experts here from the companies who are going to mainstream those trainings of those youths in their various companies. And at the end, when they finish their training, with the level of curriculum that will be set up, it is very unlikely that such apprentices will be let go. Meanwhile, in the long run, the young man got an employment, he got a good wage, and at the same time to his company, high-level German system, which has been adapted to the Nigeria situation, will be imbibed in the company, and the economy will roll.
So we're talking about a population of people between the ages of 15 and 24. That's the youths. Yeah. And you say 26 at the moment.
Yeah.
That's in the course of how many months has this training been done?
Actually, the training takes 1 year.
1 year.
In principle. And 70% of this time will be spent in the company, whereby they learn the systems of the company, their production system, which has been imbibed also in the curriculum. The curriculum is set up, we have the company aspect, the school aspect. 70% of the time will be spent in the company, and 30% will be spent in the schools. And these schools are selected, and this, for example, ITF is mainstreaming that presently, with IIT mainstreaming that part presently.
Okay, so now 26 of them this year. Is that number going to increase by next year?
Actually, it's a continuous and ongoing thing. As more companies key into this, because this project can always be successful, dual vocational system can always work if the private sector, organized private sector, are really very active in it. Meaning, it is an ongoing thing. We are getting more companies who are interested in those areas, and the areas that I can mention are 4 areas of profession: industrial mechanic, industrial electronics, and technical facility management, and last but not the least is the area of office administration and project management.
Let's take